Welcome to Makkos. Let's hit it, Makkos. We are in Yud Gimel Amud Beis in the first wide line, and we definitely have to give a small synopsis of what we've done so far. The beginning of the Amud, it's quite the beginning of the parak. You can still jump on the bandwagon, people from Torah anytime. So we have learned the following. We saw a three-facet machlokes between Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Yitzchak. What's the machlokes about? Machlokes is as follows. When the Torah tells you that you're not supposed to do something, automatically what the Jewish mind assumes, if it says don't do so and so, then it means that if you do it, the automatic punishment, the default punishment, unless known otherwise, and there are exceptions, is malkos. You get malkos, you get the 39 lashes. Okay, very nice. Question is as follows. What happens when the Torah does tell you you chayv misa loleinu? It says don't do that, and if you do, you chayv misa bidei odom. Yeah, don't break Shabbos. It's not recommended. And if you do, then we're gonna stone you. Then we're going to there is skila. What happens then? Is there malkos? Let's say the person was warned by two edim. You're going to get malkos. Will it get malkos and then also get the misa afterwards? Well, depends who you ask. According to Rabbi Shmuel, yes. According to Rabbi Shmuel, that's not called kimle b'derabba minei. Rabbi Shmuel said the svara before, and as the more I researched, the more I saw, Rabbi Shmuel has an idea that Makkos and Misa are two and the same, are one and the same. In other words, as we said, Malkos is miktsas Misa. Malkos is a form of death. So if the Asra was for Malkos, okay, the Edim told you're going to get Malkos, let's say, and Misa. Let's say they told you both, yeah? Then what do you say? You're warned about Malkos and Misa. You see Rashi at the top of the page. Yeah. Misa and Malkos. Rashi says, the first Rashi in the page says, the Edim told the guy, Mister, if you're going to smoke on Shabbos, they'll give you Malkos and they'll give you Misa. And they'll hit you and they'll kill you. So that is so. Says Rabbi Shmuel, the right. The Edim are right. Why? It's not Kimle. Kimle is when you have money versus something else, right? He has not money and another punishment. It's both Misa. And therefore, there's a small misa that eventually leads to the bigger misa. You get both. That's Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Kiva argued. One second. What about karess? Kol sheken. Rabbi Shmuel for sure believes that if you broke something which is chiyuv karess and not chayv misa b'dei adam, for example, we've seen a whole list of things that are chayv karess and not chayv misa b'dei adam. Somebody has relations with his sister, relations with sister-in-law of all times, aunt, v'chulei. All of that, Yichayv Karess, and no Misa Bidei Odom is prescribed. What happens then? Then, when there's Karess and Misa, then Rabbi Shmuel, surely says that there is malkos. There is malkos and Karess. That was Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Kiva says, no. Rabbi Kiva says, I differentiate and I differ from my colleague Rabbi Shmuel, and I say as follows. When it comes to Misa Bidei Shemaim, no, Misa Bidei Shemaim doesn't exist here. When it comes to Misa Bidei Odom, we say that there is no malkos. Misa b'dei shamayim, misa b'dei odom and malkos. Misa b'dei odom and malkos. What about them? You don't get both. You get misa b'dei odom. If they kill a person, then you don't get that's called kimle. Yeah, that's called what's the word? Because it's called kimle of the rabbi. When he gets a bigger punishment. Yeah, risha achas v'lo shtei rishoyos. You give him one penalty and not both. You give him the bigger punishment, which is death. Obviously, death is worse. As bad as 39 lashes are, misa is worse. You get misa, you don't get the malkos. What about karess? Karess, we said, is something which is bidei or is not bidei odom. Since karess is something which is by Kadosh Baruch Hu, nothing to do with the dayanim. Dayanim say we have to give him malkos. He's going to get karess. That's in Hashem's court, not in our court. Don't mix spirituality and Judaism. I'm saying like it's too. That's a Kadosh Baruch Hu's job. That's our job. That's one way to understand it. That's what we said so far. A third opinion was Rav Yitzchak. Rav Yitzchak was even more extreme, and Rav Yitzchak said either the punishment is misa b'idei odom or karess, you never get malkos. Whenever there's a more severe punishment, be it karess, be it misa b'idei odom, by Beis Din, you don't get malkos. That's the third opinion. I forgot to bring the whiteboard because of Tisha B'Av, they put it over there. Do you want to be very sporty today? Thank you. If you can climb on the chair and bring the whiteboard, that would be amazing. Shkoyach Otzum. Thank you very, very much. Let's now continue towards the end of the first wide line. Up until now, that's what we've seen up to yesterday. Rove Omar. Rove has a whole different take on what we just said. Rove Omar. Atu be'lektolo. Let's say the two Adim. I just want everyone to be clear on that, and I think you're clear, but let's just say it again, and I checked it yesterday in the Rambam and the Radbaz. What happens if a person was warned, you're not allowed to smoke on Shabbos, it's usher, and he still was puffing away, b'meizid lo aleinu? Is he going to go to be killed in Beis Din? There are two Eidim? No. The Eidim have to tell him that it's Chayiv Misa. Eidim have to tell a person what exactly will happen to you if you continue, then so and so will happen to you. So a lot depends on the words of the Eidim. I don't know if I stressed it enough. So now, let's say the Eidim, Rove Omar, Atu be'lektolo. Let's say the two Eidim saw the guy doing something which is Chayev Misa Bidei Odom, smoking on Shabbos. Then what? They told him, hey, you're going to die. You know what that means to be B'chal Shabbos? You're going to get skila. Yeah, that's like bungee jumping, but without the security belt. Yeah, that's not nice. Yeah, Atu be'lektolo. Then Kula Alma Loi Pligi De'en Loi Kivemes. Everyone agrees. Both Rabbi Shmuel even Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva Kol Sheken, you don't get malkos and misa, you only get misa. Why does everyone agree to that? It's Machloikes Ma'alsho and Rashash. Yeah, it's Machloikes Achronim how to explain it. I'll go with the Rashash. The Rashash says precisely because Rabbi Shmuel agrees that malkos and misa are more or less like one and the same. There's no point of doing the same thing twice. That's not his words, but that's what I kind of figured from him. What does Rabbi Shmuel believe? I'll tell you something else cool about Rabbi Shmuel. How many dayanim are required for the Beis Din of malkos? 3 or 23? Machalokest. Well, apparently Tanakam and Sanhedrin says 3. Rabbi Shmuel says 23, and we know why. Rabbi Shmuel says that malkos is a form of death. So it works in all kinds of different ways. When you hit someone's miktsas misa, you kill that part of the body. It needs healing.
Use is also.
What? And what?
Use also is part.
Say there, and use is not Oynish Beis Din. Say, we're talking out of Oynish Beis Din. Don't get, no, I'm sorry, no. We're talking out of Beis Din. Within the punishments of Beis Din, the one that's most similar to death is Miktsas Misa. In Hilchas Shabbos also. Yichai because of Shchita, according to some Rishonim, when you make a wound. In other words, it's debilitating the person. It's very, very simple. Like the Gemara in... But the Kam, I think, Dafyud. What happens when you hit a person many, many times on the head? He's going to die. They do it in North Korea. It's actually not funny. Yeah. When you hit someone too many times with something, eventually he's going to die, even if it's just Makkos. It's quite simple. The kids are, let's just accept that. Miktsas, as Rabbi Shmuel said before. Therefore, says the Rashash, he's not going to get malkos and misa. Fakert. He's going to get the misa anyways. There's no point of killing him twice. There's no point of also lashing him and then killing him. He's getting the misa. Even Rabbi Shmuel agrees to that. Keep ligi. So when did they argue Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva? The asur bein malkos. What happens if two Eidim came to the guy who's about to light the cigarette Leil Shabbos, and what do they tell him? They tell him, you're going to get malkos. I don't know if they're Meratzim or they just have Rachmanis on him, but they don't inform him of the highest real oynish which is written in the Torah. They're telling him, you're going to get malkos. What happens then? That's the question. Rabbi Shmuel Sovar, Lav Shenitan Lazos Misas Beis Din Loikin Olov. Says Rabbi Shmuel, if although the Lav was originally written in the Torah in order to get Misas Beis Din, the Torah's idea, as it says quite, what does it say about Shabbos? Shabbos Shabbos L'Kachoi Mechalaleh Mois Yumas. You shall surely kill the Mechalal. That's what the Torah says. However, if the people said you're going to get malkos, you'll get malkos. In other words, it's not a stira because it's either or. In other words, malkos and misa are good friends according to Rabbi Shmuel. Either they coexist if you're master for both. If you gave us law for what? For just malkos, you get malkos. Yeah, they're all on the same sliding scale. You get malkos, and this is the Rabbi Shmuel over here. You get malkos if you were warned for malkos. Yeah, and you don't get misa. Very good. Now, Lichoyer don't get misa because they didn't warn him about misa. Right? Rashi says L'chudei. Okay. Rabbi Akiva Sova, Rabbi Akiva says no. Lav shenitan lazos misas bezdin ein lo kinolov. Rabbi Akiva says no. If the Torah, and soon we're going to explain why, if the Torah told you you're supposed to get misas bezdin, don't break Shabbos, and if you do break Shabbos, you get misa. Even though these Adim are smarty pants, and they told him, no, you're going to get malkos, we don't care about what they say. Why? Because, and this is Rabbi Akiva's logic from now on till the end of the page, Rabbi Akiva believes that just like, a dressing room, there's only room for one person. Yeah, in the shop, you can't have two people going into the same room sometimes in certain situations. When the Torah tells you don't, it can only, in other words, every punishment, every lav in the Torah, not every, many lav, almost every lav in the Torah, every isser in the Torah, see it as two pieces of one whole. Don't do so and so, and if yes, then what? It's like the socket and the hole. Yeah, it's like and if yes, then what? Then you're gonna get one thing, not two. Yeah, the Torah says don't do, and if yes, then mavis, misa. If you don't smoke on Shabbos, not so nice. And if you do, then what? Says the Torah, misa. That's it. Taken, boom, taken. Just like one woman can't be married to two men, no way. So too, yeah, you can't have one love and it's taken, occupied by two consequences. I'm not saying even punishments on purpose. If the Torah says don't, and if you do, you die, finished. So now death is the result of the don't, of the love. And you don't have room now for malkos. These two items said malkos, nice. And I say my name is Donald Trump. I can say lots of things. Who cares? It's not relevant because the Torah says don't love, and the love was Nisan, was given to, as we say, Nisan lazos misas bezdin, azov misa, not for malkos. Finished. That's what Rabbi Akiva believes. Very nice. Frek the Gemara. Well, Rabbi Shmuel no. Rabbi Shmuel says that all one big happy family. We can manage with both. Misa, malkos, all part of the same clan. Frek the Gemara about Rabbi Akiva, according to Rava. Rava is now explaining Rabbi Akiva. The Rabbi Akiva, according to you, Rava, something illogical is over here. What did we say about Rabbi Akiva about karess? Rabbi Akiva says by karess you get both, right? We say that if you have karess, and let's say two Adim came and they say to someone, hey, mister, are you serious? You and your sister are going to do that? Are you insane? You need to be hospitalized. That's first of all. And secondly, if you and your sister are going to be like loving too much, then what? Then you're going to get malkos. Says Rabbi Akiva, yeah, he's going to get malkos. He'll get malkos and karess. What do you mean? I thought there's only room for one, no? Rabbi Akiva, if so, if that's the reason, like Rava is saying, Chai v'krisus nami. The Chai v'krisus had used the same logic. Lav shenitan lazoros koresu. When the Torah says, don't be with your sister, it's actually true. In Parshas Achri Mois, it says, don't be with your sister or with your father, father's wife, v'chule. And then in Kedoshim, it says, and if you do, you have karess. Here too, there's only room. Don't do that. And if you do that, boom, you get karess. So where do you have room for malkos all of a sudden? How come all of a sudden here there is more than one? There's karess and malkos. How come this big party happened here? And this is a chiddush. Avimi Megrunia said on behalf of Rava, this is all Rava defending himself, yeah? Chai v'krisus lo tzrich yasro. Wow. Chai v'krisus don't require asro. Wow. Asro does mean asro. The gear says azhor, which means, in theory, even if you have a prohibition of the Torah that there is no lav on, the Torah didn't tell you don't, you're still going to be chayav karess. In other words, karess doesn't require asra. The azhara of the Torah, the prohibition of the Torah, the don't of the Torah, doesn't lead into karess. It's two separate issues because you can sometimes have karess without a lav, without the Torah prohibiting. How could that be? The Torah is giving me karess without warning me? Listen to this. Share, yes. Share Pesach v'Mila. Out of all 36 krisus at the beginning of Masechta Krisus, they're mostly, overwhelmingly lavim. There are two essay, there are two mitzvahs asay, which are mitzvahs asay, and if you don't do them, if you don't perform the asay, you chayv karess. Pesach v'Mila. You did not bring your korban Pesach. Why didn't you bring your korban Pesach? Were you rushed? Were you tomed? Did you try? I don't believe in it. It's not the kind of thing to bring korban Pesach. I do go to an egalitarian seder in somewhere else in Tel Aviv. Yeah, so he didn't bring his korban Pesach. Or Mila, he didn't do bris Mila, he himself. By the age of 13, realized that parents didn't do bris Mila, and he's not doing bris Mila either because he doesn't hold of it. He's going to get karess when he dies. So Pesach and Mila, look at that. Onash, there's a punishment of karess. Afal Pishalohi is here. Aha! You see that although there's no azhor, there's no love, there's no prohibition of don't do this and that, because Pesach and Mila are not don'ts, they are do. Do have bris Mila, do bring Korban Pesach, right? And if you don't, there's karess. So we see that as opposed to malkos or chai v'misa, which only apply by don't, karess is out of the game. So therefore you can have enachanami. Karess doesn't need azhara. So you know why the Torah wrote for me azhara? By, let's say, the sister. You know why the Torah wrote to me the azhara? In order to tell me malkos. Ay, 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 ay. The Torah says like this. Don't be with your sister, oy vavoy, or with your mother-in-law is a skilla, or with your sister-in-law, aunt. You know, and if yes, then what? You get malkos. You get malkos if you want for malkos. Karess is out of the game. Karess is not part of that chibur. If then karess is out of the game. You have karess even without azhara. You have karess without the warning, right? Very good. And therefore, it's out of the game. Therefore, says Rabbi Akiva, karess and malkos can coexist. Don't open the window. What closes the window of don't be with your sister? Karess without misa, without malkos. What about, that's a don't. What about karess? That's besides the point. Karess is not connected to the isur. Karess is there even when there's no isur. And here's my proof. Pesach and Mila. We see mitzvahs say also have karess, as opposed to malkos, for example, or misa bidei based in. It never happens to mitzvah saseh. So karess is different. Frag the Gemara, 1 second. Frag the Gemara, v'dilma. Good. Frag the Gemara, v'dilma. Fourth line from the bottom of the page. Frag the Gemara, v'dilma azor lekorban. There's another one in the list called the korban, right? You tell me, guys, what happens to a person who's over karess but b'shoigeg? He did something which would be chayv karess. Let's say he ate that very tasty blood sausage, or the chaylev sausage. He really didn't know. He was lied to. They told him it's b'datzei the charedis and it's kosher. What's the punishment? It would be karess b'mezid, but he's a shoigeg. What does he get? What does he have to do to bring? The korban, as you all know. Korban chatas. That's the rule of chatas. When you bring chatas on a shoigeg whose mezid would be karess. Fact the Gemara, you know why we need azhara? We're again attacking Rabbi Akiva with Rava's understanding. You know what is the other side of the don't of those chiyuv karess? Don't be with your sister. And if you are with your sister by mistake, you didn't know she was your sister. Long sister, she was raised in the Philippines and you're here. You didn't know she was your sister. That could happen. Like the Yemenites stole them from the kibbutzim. Lo aleinu. So you have relations with your sister thinking she's just a nice girl. And then what? What do you bring? You bring chatas. You and her bring korban chatas. So Mimei frag the Gemara, wait a second. Why are you telling me the azhara is there and the azhara is there for malkos, like every normal azhara? Don't be with your sister, and the automatic, if not then, is malkos. Hey, no. I found something else, korban. It's telling me, don't be with your sister, b'mezid. Obviously not b'shoigeg. I mean, shoigeg is not up to you, but, beware. Make sure she's not your sister before you marry her, right? It's still your fault. And if you didn't check well enough, and she's your sister, then you have to bring a korban. Maybe that is it. And again, it's taken. Taken. Musical chairs, taken. And therefore, really, the korban is the result. The korban is the if, then. That's the consequence. And not malkos. So maybe you don't get malkos for karess. Still the same question. How can you say that you can have both malkos and karess, Rabbi Akiva? Right? We thought there's only room for one. You know which one is that? Korban. And we'll prove it to you now from here. You prove from Pesach Umila? I'll use this proof against you. Look, the Pesach V'Mila, the leis b'azhoro, lo maitzi korban. Look at that. There's a proof to the question. Look at Pesach Umila, your favorite proof. I'll prove it against you. Pesach Umila, there is no azhoro, as we know. Pesach Umila is an assay. Do bring the korban. Make bris milah to your baby, and if you're grown up, you grew up in Russia, then do it to yourself. And what happened if by mistake you didn't? You didn't know. You didn't know about Korban Pesach. You thought you brought the Korban and you forgot. You absent-mindedly, whatever shogig means, you didn't know. You didn't bring a Korban by mistake, the Korban Pesach. You didn't do Bris Milah by mistake. You didn't know about Bris Milah. The guy is a shogig. He doesn't realize exactly what's Bris Milah. He doesn't know. So there's no Korban there. Why isn't there a Korban by Pesach Milah? You see why. You know why? Because you see that Azhara was for Korban. Therefore, Pesach Milah, when there is no Azhara, there's no don't. Pesach Milah is the example for those who don't have the first half. They don't have the don't. And you see the don't bring a Korban. That proves to you by, as they say, shlila, by ruling them out, that every time the Torah does it, don't be with your sister. I'm dafka using examples for karess without misas beis din. Chaylev, don't eat chaylev. Mashma, if you do, you bring Korban. Because you see that by the assay, you see by when there's no azhara, by Pesach Milah, we say, do bring Pesach, do bring Milah, and there's no Korban, right? So you see that the lav, the don't, automatically leads to Korban, and not to malkos. So why do Rabbi Kiva say automatically, don't do so-and-so, brings you malkos? In Isilikos, it's not true. Isilikos is telling me that if you did the karess b'shogeg, you have Korban. Don't, and if you did by shogeg, then Korban. Answers the Gemara, no, that's the final answer. Now we're getting to the end of this mahalach. Hasam, no. Over there, you're putting two and two together, but the wrong way. You have a cause and effect that are wrong. The Gemara is going to say now basically that this kind of logic is like saying, you were born in England, and therefore you have 2 ears. It's true that you're born in England, and it's true that you have 2 ears, but that's not cause and effect, right? True, there are people born outside England who also have ears. Lo kashur. It's 2 true facts, but they're not connected. How does that work? Awesome over there with the karess with Pesach Milah, lav hainu taimen. No. It's not that because it's not a lav, therefore there's no korban, and therefore when there is a lav, the lav is coming to warn you to bring a korban. That's not true. Ella, why Pesach Milah don't have. If you did them by mistake or you refrained from them by mistake, I don't have to bring korban chatas. A whole different story. This, by the way, is a very, very, very scientific point, what we're saying now, which means, how do you really know that the formula I told you is right? It's written in Shabbos, Daf Ayin, I think also Daf Sameches. The formula is very, very well known, and that is what? Again, any punishment which by Mezid is karess, if you did by shogeg, you chayv chatos. Well, they're very nice. Who said that? The Kivat Eichtal? Who decided that? It says it in the Torah. What does it say in the Torah? In Parshas Shlach, it says other things there besides the meraglim, by the way. And one of the things besides the meraglim, it says if Beis Din makes a mistake and they're allowed to worship Avodah Zarah, not b'mezid chalila. They thought that this kind of animal, this kind of getchka is not a getchka. They thought that bowing down is not harmful. So what does it say over there? It says there the famous pasuk, which I want to read inside Rashi. It says, Torah achasi elochem leoise bishgogo. Which means, it says over there, just like over here in Avodas Kechovim, what happens when Beis Din made such an innocent mistake? They're being a korban chatas. And an individual also. If a guy worshipped of the Zohar by mistake, whatever that means, it's difficult to explain that. That's in Shabbos Daf Ein Beis on Beis. But Lamaisa, let's say there was a mistake in the Zohar. What do you have to bring? Chatos. Says the Torah achas. Take the example of the Zohar, just like of the Zohar is b'mezid karess, b'shogeg korban. So too, Mazel Tov. That's the rule by everybody else. Whenever you have a mezid karess, shogeg is chatas, just like the Zohar. The Zohar is the poster boy. That's the example for everybody else, and that excludes. That is what excludes Pesach Milah. Why? We compare all Isurei Torah to Avodas Kechovim. Meaning what? Here we'll come to add another layer. Ma Avodas Kechovim shev ve'al taiseh. Is Avodas Kechovim mitzvah saseh lo taseh? Lo taseh. Shev al taseh. Are you crazy? Are you going to bow down to that golden, seemingly beautiful statue in India in your visit? Michigan? No, don't do that. That says Shev al taseh, sit down and don't do that. I've called Shev al taseh. So too all other Isurim. When the Torah says don't do that, those isurim are chayev korban chatos lapuki, excluding who? Hani the kumasei, excluding our dear friends Pesach and Mila. Pesach Mila, there is no prohibition. The Torah didn't say, the Torah could have, the Torah can have a lot of twists and turns. The Torah didn't say, don't refrain from bris milah. It could have. It says, do bris milah. It didn't say, don't stop yourself. There are such words in the Torah. The Torah didn't say, don't stop yourself from bringing korban Pesach. It says, bring that korban already. Aha. Because the lashon, the style is asay, that's why we don't have korban. Because korban is only brought on things that are, you actively broke. The Hashem's, you went against Hashem's will, you did do avodah zarah, you did do anything else, you ate the blood sausage, you ate the chaylev sausage, then you chayiv on them, b'shoigeg, you chayiv the chatas. But it's not because of what you thought before, it's not because of what we said before, it's not because of this is mitzvahs aseh and lo taseh, it's no, meaning it doesn't show us, let's just more precise, it doesn't show us that every time you have lav, that's why you have karess. Says Rashi an example. Let's say the Torah wouldn't have the lavim in Parshas Kedoshim, yeah? Parshas Kedoshim, Parshas Achremois. In Achremois, it tells you, don't. All the eyes. Don't be with your sister, don't be with your stepmother, don't be with your mother, don't be with your grandmother, don't. And then it doesn't say what happens. It says afterwards where? In Kedoshim, it says, if you do all that, you get karess, right? Let's say the Torah wouldn't have said don't, and the Torah would have just said karess, would be valid. You can have karess given to you without the azhara, without the lav. What about Pesach and Mila? Pesach and Mila out of the game because they're not similar to the Zorah. Leave them alone. They have a separate side reason why you don't bring korban on them because they're not active. But it's still, when it comes to active averos, in theory, it could have been true to say that karess is there even without azhara. Let's just summarize now. I think people are a bit confused. Let's make it very, very simple. It's very, very simple. The simple story is like this. Zokt Rabbi Shmuel, I believe that whenever the person is punished with, not really practically punished, let's say there's a type of avera which is a chiyuv misa, but he was warned by the Eidim Berel and Shmerel, you are going to get malkos, he'll get malkos. Why? Malkos and misa, buddy. Yeah, it's like lahavdil, two right-wing parties, they can give votes from one to the other by Israeli law. The Odfim, we're more or less the same. Givaldi. No misa, pseder malkos. We're friends, we're good. Mashenk and Rabbi Kiva says, no, that's two different stories. And Rabbi Kiva says, no. If the Torah told you chayv misa, there's only one place that can be occupied by a lav, meaning the Torah says, don't. And if yes, then one. There's only room to the consequence, the punishment, one. What is it? If the Torah says, don't do this because otherwise you'll get misa, don't light fire on Shabbos. And if you do, the Torah tells you that you die, that's it. There's no room for malkos. I don't care about what the Eidim told him. The Eidim, they're irrelevant. Excuse me. How does Rabbi Kiva say that when the person is chayv karess, he'll also get malkos? And apparently, it seems like also malkos and also karess. How come? Maybe the azhara, don't eat the blood sausage. Don't eat blood. Don't eat chaylev. And if you do, it says in the Torah, you get karess. So it's taken. Where did malkos come to this story? Says Rabbi Kiva, no. They're two separate issues. Don't eat blood sausage. And if you do, then you get malkos. If you warn by the malkos, you get malkos. What about karess? That's floating in the air above. That's a separate story. Karess doesn't need azhara. Azhara doesn't need karess. It's coming there too. It's sitting on the lap of the other child. in musical chairs, one kid made it to the final chair. The other kid sits along, and the ganenet says it's okay. Fine. The mother arranges the birthday party. It can be there. Why? He has different rules. Karess has nothing to do with the love. Not nothing to do. But karess is kilo there. Not why? Because karess doesn't need love. Yeah, karess doesn't need to be dafka connected to love. Karess is there anyways from the side. The horaya that you see that not keeping the korban pesach and not keeping mila is karess. There's no love there. Here I am. Hey, what about the fact that it's korban? No. Maybe you want to tell me the azhar is there for a korban? Not true. Azhar is not for korban. No. Yeah, that's not true because the fact that Pesach or Mila are not with Korban is because of a different reason from Avodah Zarah. Weiter. Ravina Omar. Ravina says Lo olam kedam rinan. Yudalad Amud Aleph. Now that's going to be a much easier answer. Ravina is arguing with Rava, and he's telling us a different reason. Lo olam kedam rinan mikora. Remember Rabbi Kiva's original reason? Rabbi Kiva said, Shtei rishoyos. Rabbi Kiva says, not like Rava is saying, not because of it's a musical chairs thing, and Rava says, you can't have more than one. No, it's not the reason. The reason is, like we said early, what is the reason? Pashut, one and not the other. You can only get the worst punishment and not the lighter one. What about karess? Excuse me, isn't karess worse than malkos? Right? That's first question. Secondly, what was Rabbi Kiva's original statement? If you remember the beginning of the previous Amud before Tisha B'Av, Rabbi Kiva said, "You know why you get karess and malkos? Because karess is up to tshuva. A person can do tshuva when he gets karess, as opposed to Mrs. Beis Din, you can't do tshuva. Once the person already mamish is framed, is there, is chayiv, he can't do tshuva. Now everything will come in one beautiful, simple sentence. All of Rabbi Kiva will be very, very clear. What's the chiddush? What's the pshat here? Says Ravina as follows: Shim osu tshuva beis din shemal moichlin lohen. If a person was over karess, what karess, for example, without Mrs. Beis Din, he ate the blood sausage, he ate the chelev, very nice chelev. We thought it's a gale. How do you call gale in American? Pcha. Yeah, he ate the gale. It looks very Jewish, very Polish. At a kiddush and Shabbos, and it was chelev. Somebody bought it from Mackenzie's, not from Schuster's. Beseder. Then what? What do we say? Ask mechila, and you won't get karess. Yeah. Oh, sorry. 1 second. 1 second. Okay. So you can do tshuva on karess. You was over karess, can do tshuva. There's tikkun karess. I was in a community every Rosh Chodesh they did tikkun karet. Every Rosh Chodesh they sat like all night long for many hours in the evening, and they were saying all kinds of Tilim and Zoya, whatever that is, I don't know, to do tikkun karess. Okay. So now, very nice. You, Rabbi Kiva, you're telling me that by karess is forgivable, karess is flexible. And the Gemara had a question on Rabbi Akiva. My Omar, haloi over tshuva. The Gemara previously asked on that logic, what do you mean he could do tshuva? But he didn't, right? Not everyone did tshuva. Let's say a person said, no, I don't regret eating that chelev, I don't believe in it, and I would do it again, I don't care, you based in. Then what? You still don't give him malkos? By your logic, you tell me, if you repented, then he's a good boy, you don't give him malkos. Shkoyach, not everyone does. You nosasas dvarecha l'shiur and make up your mind. Answers, Ravina explaining Rabbi Akiva, that's a punchline. Lo psika milsa lekores, which means lo psika milsa means it's not a done deal. It's not set in stone. Kores is not something very set in stone, which means even if this particular guy says, I want to have chelev again, I don't care. Still, conceptually, because kores is something that is revocable, something that is up to the person's teshuva, mimela, that can coexist together with malkos, and he gets malkos together. By misa, yeah, that's a done deal. Misa is more severe than malkos. Says Rabbi Kiva, I'm Mr. Kimle. Kimle works always, not only with the money, as we said before. You get misa, you potter for malkos. What about karess and malkos? What do you mean more severe? Obviously, getting karess, dying young, and or staying in solitary confinement the whole life in Olam Abod, it's very bad. Of course, it's worse than getting some silly 39 lashes here, but it's not a done deal. It's not a done deal because karess is so changeable, is so revocable, because if you'll really do tshuva, Hashem will forgive you. That makes karess less severe than malkos. Malkos you have to get. Let's say the guy was warned, hey, if you're going to eat this blood sausage, Mr. Yudmezid, you're going to get malkos. I don't care. And then he does tshuva, we don't care. Once he went through the procedure of being chayiv, malkos, and beis din, no forgiveness. He has to get malkos. In that respect, malkos is more severe than karess. Because karess is flexible and malkos is not. Now, I'll add something which the Rabbi Kiva points here to Ramban at the very, very end of the Masechta. There's a Mishnah towards the end of the Masechta that tells us something very interesting. It's one opinion, that's Yochid in the Mishnah, but I think that we pass in that way. Once the person gets malkos, then he's potter from karess. Wow. If he got the malkos, that itself exempts him from karess. He comes clean to Olam Haba. That's very good. He doesn't die from the malkos. You don't give him lead on malkos. If you see that he's about to die, you stop. You even stop it before. Yeah. And therefore, when it comes to malkos, you give him malkos 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 39. And then he's potter from the karess. I guess he also has to do tshuva. So that definitely shows you that that is of itself. Once you give him the malkos, then karess becomes much, much lighter, becomes null. Right? And in Echinami, the Ramban says Rabbi Kiva and that opinion over there are good friends. So that fits very nicely. Oh, we are behind in time. Hashem, help us. Okay, yes. Mazel Tov. Now we're about to start explaining the third opinion of Rabbi Yitzchak. What did Rabbi Yitzchak say? No, what did you say, Rabbi Yitzchak? Rabbi Yitzchak said you're not chayiv on either. You're not chayiv malkos neither on chiyuv misa b'deodam nor on karess. Is the most meko. Even chiyuv karess. If a person has chiyuv karess which does not involve human beings, which is flexible, which is this and that, Rabbi Yitzchak says when it comes to karess, you don't get the malkos. Karess only and no malkos. Even if the Eidim told you you're going to eat that blood sausage, or you're going to get malkos, shtuyot, you won't get malkos. They're talking nonsense. You'll get karess, but you will not get malkos. Farvuis. What's Rabbi Yitzchak's reason? Rabbi Yitzchak Omer, he said in the Brisa. We're just re-quoting the Brisa. The Torah tells us in one line, in one pasuk, the Torah says that anybody who is breaking any of the incest isurim plus eshes isha nida and mishkav zachu, all the tznias averas, yeah, you get karess. Okay, I got that. V'lama yotzas karess b'choisoi. What does the Torah have to repeat itself? And the isra of a sister, it's telling you karess. I know it already. Laduna b'kos v'lo b'malkos. Says Rabbi Yitzchak, as I told you, when you ask me, do you want Coke or Pepsi? I'll tell you neither. Coke or Pepsi, and I'll say Coke, Coke. Do I want Pepsi? No. I didn't say no Pepsi. Shkoyach. If you know Coke or Pepsi, and it said Coke, Coke, it's obviously memaet Pepsi, right? So if the Torah tells you twice, karess, karess, it means to tell you, although normally what's on the menu on the table is malkos, because you all know by now that automatically, unless known otherwise, every issue, every lav carries with it malkos. Here comes the Torah. Karess and karess only. That's what it says karess twice, in general and by the sister, excluding malkos when it comes to karess. Very nice. Frag the Gemara, the Rabbanon, karess b'choisoi lamali. Well, the obvious question is, Rabbanon here are who? The opponents of Rabbi Yitzchak. Who is they? Who is they? Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva, can you please tell me why did the Torah repeat itself and again said in a choisoi karess? I know that you have karess in any of the intimacy surim. Why do you have to tell me again karess and his sister? According to you, people don't believe that it's excluding malkos. So why did we repeat it in sister? Answers the Gemara lechalek, to tell me that on each and every lav you chayev a separate chatos. It's a separate karess and therefore separate chatos. What does it mean on all of them? Let me explain now. Rabbi Yochanan says the Gemara. Rabbi Yochanan, at the beginning of Maseches Krisus, it says, Shimason kulam belam echad chayev al kolachas ve'achas. Very nice. Says Rabbi Yochanan as follows. Let's say the person had, like in Shabbos, the person had one helem. He forgot about all the isurei intimacy. And he had relations, he had a whole thing going on over there. He had relations with the Nida, with the sister-in-law. He had relations between 9 o'clock at night and 11 o'clock at night. He had a period of forgetfulness. I think that's how you call helem in English. And he forgot about all the intimacy surim, and he managed to do a lot. He managed in that time to have bia with the sister-in-law, the other sister-in-law, Nida, Zochor maybe too. I don't know the guy's preferences. Mother is, excuse me, yeah, and yeah, the kids are no, that's an yeah. So what happens then is chayiv on each and every one, even though the helem is one helem, you just forgot the whole thing in the Torah, all these surim together in one go. Somebody banged him on the head, or he drank too much in the pub. I don't know what. And lemaisa is chayiv on each and every one. Meaning, if the Torah only told me the one general isser, if you are with any of those, any of those, you chayiv karess, I would say fine. Well, there's only one karess, and therefore only one chatos. Karess and chatos are friends. It was a mistake. He didn't know that it's usher. Then what? He's chayv chatos on all of them. Sister, sister-in-law, nida, behema, father, mother. Oh, comes the Torah. Sister was siphoned out. And the Torah says, if you with your sister, we took one of the group of many. If you're with your sister, you have a separate chatas on the sister alone. And we have a rule which some of you say every morning, lo lalamad al atzma yotza, lalamad al klal kulo yotza. We have an exception to the rule, something that was taken out of the group, it's coming to teach you on the entire group. Just like sister, you have separately, so to any other of the arayas, it's called in proper Hebrew, any other arayas, sister-in-law, the other sister-in-law, the daughter, the mother, the shviger, any of those, all of them, they're all chayv each and one separately. That's why a choisa is written separately and a choisa is repeating itself. It's not repeating. It's telling me there's karess on everyone. So I should know that it's karess. And sister was siphoned out to tell me, you chayv on that separately, just like, and so too on each and other one you chayv separately. That is very, very, very similar to Shabbos Kodesh, the Masechta which we're learning in the evening, yeah? Why does it say don't light fire on Shabbos? You're not allowed to do many things on Shabbos. Just like lighting fire, you chayv on separately, so to any of the 39, you chayv separately any other melacha. Very nice. So now we have it very clear. According to Rabbi Yitzchak, you know what the Torah says about sister? You chayv karess, to tell me karess, right? Very good. And according to Chachamim, no. Sister is repetitive to tell me you chayv and a sister separately, even if you were sister and shviger and mother, you chayv and a sister separately. And so too you chayv on any other of the erva, any one of this 9 to 11 party that he had with many things, is chayv on each and everyone separately. That's what Chachamim say. Obvious question is, excuse me, Rabbi Yitzchak l'chalak minali. So according to Rabbi Yitzchak, how does he know that, right? How does Rabbi Yitzchak, which source does he have, Rabbi Yitzchak, to tell me that if a guy had relations with many erves, is chayv and each one is separate chatas? B'shoigeg, how does he know that? He used up the choisoi for something else, to exclude malkos. So how does he know that you're chayv and each and everyone separately? He has a different source. What's the source? Nafkalei, it says about nida, mive'el isha, Benidas tumoso. It says by nida, you're not allowed to be with your wife nida, and the Torah says el isha benidas tumoso. Why can the Torah speak short and say ve'el nida lo tikrav? Isha benida. What do you think? He's married to not to an isha? What's he married to? Of course, isha benida. Who else is nida? Elamai. Why does it say isha? Lechayv will call isha ve'isha. Because by nida it says el isha, it comes to tell you isha is singular, right? To tell you each and every woman you have relations with, you have separately, even if it's one helem, it's one big shoygeg, but it's different bodies and different isurim. There's Rochel, his sister, Shprintz, his sister-in-law, his mother is Bela, and his daughter is Yocheved. He's chayv on each and every one. And that we learn from nida. So, frek the Gemara, v'rabbanon nami tepukle meho. Why can't Rabbanon use that? Isha benidas tumasa. Why did they learn it from the sister to tell me each one is separate? You can learn it from nida. The Gemara now changing courses. That's important. The Gemara is changing course now. Enochinami. True. I give up. Chachamim can and do learn the idea of Rabbi Yochanan and Krisis that each and every woman, each and every body, and each and every isu is dealt with separately, different korban. You learn it from where? From El Isha benidas tumosa. Which brings the question, velakos da choisoi lamali. So then back to square one about Chachamim. Again, remember, Rabbi Yitzchak is standing in the corner smiling all the time. He is secure, he is good. He knows that the reason why sister repeats itself again is to tell me karess and not malkos, right? But according to you, Chachamim, why did the Torah have to tell me karess da choisoi? Why did the Torah tell me the karess of the sister? What for, right? The person was with 3 types of sister. One of them is his sister. The other 2 are aunts, which are sister of the parents. And the same night, which he was very active, he was with his sister, the sister of his father, the sister of his mother. He's having each and everyone separately. Pshita, of course, we know that already. We spoke about 10 different ones. What do you have to say 3? Ariguf and Muchlokin. Arishemus Muchlokin. What's the Havamina? There are 3 different women, and each one is a separate Isser. One is a sister, one is his aunt one way, one is his aunt the other way. And I know already from the words ve'el isha benida, ve'el isha benida stamos. I know I have an each and everyone. Ella, I hope you're not going to have a laugh now, but if you do, I'll understand it. Comes the Gemara, listen to this, unbelievable. I call it the case of the triple sister. Ella, there's one woman who is his sister and his aunt on both sides. It's one woman. Wow. We're going to see Rashi here. Ella l'chayvo el achoisoi, shi achois oviv, shi achos imoi. Let's say there's one woman, it's one goof, her name is Prince Abela, and her relationship with the guy is very close-knit family. She's both his sister, and she's the sister of his father and the sister of his mother. And it's one person. How do you find such a thing? Bereshia bar Rashia is a Rosho, son of a Rosho. This requires Rashi over here. Bereshia bar Rashia, it's very nearby. What's the story? Listen carefully with no charts. Just listen carefully and look at Rashi. Bereshia bar Rashia. It's very near where we are, just like 2-3 lines above. Habal imoy, a guy, very nice guy, had relations with his mother, not so nice. V'hoydit shtei bonus, mazel tov, he did it twice. They're habitual, and 2 daughters he has. Now these daughters are both his sisters and his daughters, because he fathered from his mother. He had relations with his mother, and they had 2 daughters together. So these daughters are, let's say his name is Reuven. No insult to anybody called Reuven yet. So this Reuven, there's Shprinza and there's Bela. They are both, what are they? They are his sisters and his daughters. One and the same. It's not enough. He had relations with one of them. He had relations with Shprinza. Reuven had relations with Shprinza, which is his sister and his daughters. Nice guy. Ben, he had a son. He had a son. Now the son had relations with Shprinza. Now the son had relations with someone who is a sister because she's born from Reuven, and so was he born from Reuven, but she's also his aunt. Yeah, and she's achos imoy. She is a sister of his mother, because there were 2 daughters out of the first instance. So Shprinza and Bela are sisters. He has relations with Shprinza, which is the sister of his father. She's the sister of Bela's auntie, and she's his own sister, because he's related to both. Such a I don't know. Will they find a shidduch? I'm not sure. So basically, yeah, mamzerim. So now, the chiddush is that if you have such a bizarre case, as theoretical as it sounds, first of all, these things could happen in some places in the world, I don't know. But lemaisa, the zach is azoi. The concept is, it's a chiddush. There's one woman here. There's one woman, yeah, Mrs. Shprinza. That's one, only her. But lemaisa, what about her? She embodies within herself, right? She contains within herself 3 different isurim. There's one goof, but 3 isurim. You chayav on one time with her, only one time he was with her. You know, it runs in the family to like the one next door to you. But lemaisa, one time he had with her is chayav 3 chatois. Even by mistake, it's chayav 3 chatois. Very good. And that is the chiddush of achoisoi. The reason why the Torah repeated the word achoisoi by karess by achoisoi is to tell me, even if your achoisoi is a 3-facet achois, one person who is embodying within herself, she personifies 3 surim. You have 3 surim, 3 chatois, and not one. And that is the chiddush according to Chomim. Let's summarize. Let's have 2 boxes. Why does it say karess in achois? I know already it's karess. 1. Rabbi Yitzchak says to tell me, karess, Coke, no Pepsi. Karess, and no malkos. Okay, I know there's no malkos, but karess. Rabbanon, what do they say? Why is a choice repeating twice? To tell me, a karess. Oh, you think it's only one body? It's only one girl? You know, the one who's in the bedroom next to yours wherever you grow? She's really 3 in 1. Mivtza, 3 in 1. You have 3 karesses, which really means 3 chatois by mistake, but shogeg and not 1. That's what Chachomim say. The ping pong continues. The choyol avdil. The Rabbi Yitzchak hominali. According to Rabbi Yitzchak, how does he know that? How does Rabbi Yitzchak know? He used up the pasuk karess to exclude malkos. So how does he know? I call it from now on, and call it the triple sister, if you don't mind. Yeah, the 3-fold sister. How does he know that the 3-fold sister, you have 3 chatois, you go to Beis Hamikdash with 3 shepselach, not with 1? How does he know? According to him, the pasuk is already taken to exclude malkos. And so the Gemara nafkele mikal v'choymer. He's learning it from the following Kal V'chomer the Tnan, not Tanya Tnan. It's a Mishnah in Krisis, and I saw it today. Amar Rabbi Akiva. Let's listen to this Mishnah, and then everything will be clear. Sha'alti Rabban Gamliel and Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Akiva is telling us a story. I asked the halachic question to Rabban Gamliel and Rabbi Yoshua. The itliz shel imum. There was an itliz. You know what's an itliz? A butcher shop. We went to the butcher shop in a town called Imum, and they went to buy meat for the chasana of the son of Rabban Gamliel. What did they do when they bought meat? They were talking and learning, not about the news and politics. What were they talking about? This very case. Miss triple sister, she's his sister, and she is aunt on both sides. Mahu is he chayav one on all three because it's one girl, one body, one thing, or is he chayav on all three because she embodies three shemes? It's one group with three shemes. What do you do? Amuloi. So the answer to him, and they said, Zu lo shamanu. We didn't hear, they don't have the drosha of the extra chorus. We didn't hear any specific drosha teaching us regarding that. Aval shamanu, but we did hear another thing, a similar idea. Habal chamesh noshim nidois. A person who has relations with 5 women, the Gilsa in Krisus is his wives. He has 5 wives, Taimani guy. He has 5 wives, Nidois Be'elam Echod. And they're all Nida, and he made a mistake. They all thought they went to the mikveh and they did, I don't know, apostle, whatever. He had relations with 5 Nidas wives in one helem, one period of forgetful, one night with all 5. And what about that? They really made a mistake. They thought she is Tahoira and she was Nida, but it was a mistake bad enough to bring Chatos. He has to bring on each and every woman, each and every Nida has to bring 1 korban. End of Mishnah. What's a Kal V'chomer? From the Nida, I'm going to learn Kal V'chomer to the triple sister. Why? Uma nida sheishem echad chayv kolachas v'achas. Nida is the same isser. He broke 1 isser 5 times over. Rochel Leah Sprinza Beila Yocheved. All 5 are nida. The title of the isser, the shame the isser, was 1, and yet you chayv him 5 shepsalach. Mister, tomorrow morning after you had your nice time, you're going to go to Beis Mikdash with 5 sheep on each and every one. Even though it's really 1 isser conceptually. Kan. With a triple sister, here when you have 3 different shemas, 3 isurim, it's 1 girl with 3 different isurim. Of course, you're going to bring 3 koshik and bring 3 and not 1. So that's my makor. So that can be a source for Rabbi Yitzchak. I don't need the chorus of the sister. The chorus of the sister, I use it for what I need it. What do I need it for? 1 second. Yeah, I need it for the to tell me no malkos. Yeah, to tell me there's no malkos. So how do I know about the fact that is not there's chayv all 3, 1 sister, which is 2 aunts, is chayv on 3 on 1? I know it from the Kal V'chomer. I know it from the Kal V'chomer from Nida. The Kal V'chomer that was mentioned by the Heider Gaelig Tanoim, Rabbi Akiva, Rabban Gamliel, Rabbi Yoshua in the butcher shop. Ve'idach Chachomim. What would you say to that? Chachamim. Why do you need a special pasuk from a choisoi to tell me you have 3 on the triple sister? You have 3 chotas. You have a logical Kal V'chomer. When I have my own logical Kal V'chomer quoted by the top Tanoim, why do you need a special pasuk? Why do you need the pasuk of a choisu to tell me you have 3 chotos? They say we're not amazed by this Kal V'chomer. Kal V'chomer pricha. Chachamim who argued on Rabban Gamliel, Rabbi Shmuel, they say no. The argument Rabbi Yitzchak, excuse me. The argument Rabbi Yitzchak. Kal V'chomer pricha. It's a Kal V'chomer which is parich. It's refutable. It's a breakable Kal V'chomer. It's not a good Kal V'chomer. Why? Mala Nida shekin gufin muchlokin. What do you mean? Nida, he had relations with 5 women. Rochel Leah Sprinza Yocheved and Eisha. 5 different women he had relations with. Of course, he's chav each and every one. But Shenkin, the triple sister, is 1 body. I don't see the Kal V'chomer, not necessarily. The question is still there. I would have still said 1 body, 1 maisa, one act of znus, 1 chayv, 1 korban. That's what I would have said logically. The 5 nidas are 5. This is 1. Even I know that 5 is more than 1. So I don't believe in this Kal V'chomer. That's why we chachamim need the other source to tell me about the triple sister from a choisoi. So now, very nice. Uleidach nami havai de Kal V'chomer pricho. I frag the Gemara, you Rabbi Yitzchak, you still believe this is a good Kal V'chomer? We just proved very nicely the Kal V'chomer is not such great shakes, because we see that this is 5 women and that's one. I would say on one woman, as many Surim as are lying on her, still it's only one. Only one person. Ela nafkale, and therefore now we erase that. That business of Kal V'chomer is out of the game. Now we're heading towards the Maskona. Nafkale ma'choisoi de seifa, which means we're going to now say that and summarize. We're going to have a stop soon. Nafkale ma'choisoi de seifa, which means the Torah. I'm going to summarize everything now, and tomorrow we're going to have a chart. Be'ezras Hashem. The Torah in the same pasuk says the word choisoi twice. Which means, look at the pasuk. It says in the sidebar, you had relations with your sister, either from your father or your mother. They saw each other's private parts, and more than just saw it. Chesedu, it's karess. Why do you need the extra karess? Depends who you ask. Why do you need the extra word karess? According to Rabbi Yitzchak, why does it say karess in sister? To tell me karess and not malkos. According to Chachamim, why does it say karess? Karess, triple sister, is chayv 3 separate isurim, 3 separate chatois. But then the pasuk continues. The pasuk seems to be very redundant in saying it's repeating. You know what happened to this guy? What a bad guy. He revealed the erva, he uncovered the erva of his sister. Says Rabbi Yitzchak, the word achoisa, which is redundant at the end of the pasuk, is coming to teach me about the triple sister. Let's summarize. According to Rabbi Yitzchak, why there are 2 sisters in the pasuk, so to speak. One sister is telling me, sister karess, as opposed to malkos. Any chiyuv karess, a klal is born with that one word. There's a rule. Karess is karess, twice. Only ko, nothing else. Only karess and no malkos. Why does the Torah tell me again a choisoi? To tell me that even if he's a choisoi in all the twisted ways, she's a choisoi and achesoi v'venimoy, that triple woman from the very incest family, you chayv 3 and not 1. And Chachamim, the first achoisoi is teaching me what? The triple sister. So what did Chachamim do from the second achoisoi? Thank you for your patience. And now we'll finish. V'idach, according to Chachamim, achoisoi de sefer lamali, the second achoisoi is redundant. Why do you need the second achoisoi? I know already that with a sister you have karess and not malkos. How many times can it say karess? They have to tell you ko 10 times. It's coming to tell me something very bizarre but very famous. The Torah at the beginning of the pasuk says, if you have relations with your half sister, she's your sister either from the father or another sister only from the mother. You chayv karess. But the Torah did not tell me that if she's a full sister from both father and mother, I'm chayv karess. That the Torah has to tell me. I thought, come on. Loimar, here's the famous pasuk. Shen oin shin min adin. Here it is. The most logical, the most illogical. Here is the Torah's big moment. It's the most illogical thing in the world. Ask Mackenzie or McKinley, they'll tell you, obviously, if you have karess on half sister each way, of course you have karess on the full one. Why is it? Because it's a kal v'chomer, shkoyech. The Torah is telling me, en oin shin min adin. It's coming to tell me that by kal v'chomer you can't give punishment. Since we have the halfway, you give oynish on only the half sister, and you from your own logic you'll say, well, half sister is chayev, koshik and full sister, right? Let's talk now according to Chachamim. It's not only karess, it's also malkos. If it's chayev, malkos, and half sister, of course, koshik and the kal v'chomer chayev and full sister. Comes the Torah and stops. It tells you, stop right there. No, ein oinshin min adin. You don't punish people through kal v'chomer. The Torah is the one who has to tell me half sister, yes, and also full sister. Had the Torah told me half sister, from my own logical kal v'chomer, I wouldn't have punished a person. That's a famous rule. B'chol Torah kula. We saw it also in Daf Hey Amud Beis, Yudalad Amud Aleph, and that's right here. Ein oinshin min adin, and there is reason to it. What's the reason for it? The reason is as follows. Let's say the Torah tells you that Mr. So-and-so had relations with half-sister, it's getting malkos. What about full sister? I don't know. Maybe the Torah wants to give him something even worse. That's what the Rishonim say. Maybe the Torah wants to give him worse than malkos. Maybe malkos are not good enough for him. Maybe full sister is so bad it requires super duper malkos, which you don't give in Beis Din. Maybe deserves misa karess times 10 in Gehenim. That's why we don't touch the Torah. That's the idea. When the Torah tells us something, we learn a lot of things from Kal V'chomer, but punishments we don't learn from Kal V'chomer. And this Rabbi is good for the source. Very good. So tomorrow we're gonna Bli Neder. I hope to have a chart. You were very patient, Baruch. Thank you. And we even finished the Amud. Whoa! Thank you, guys. Thank you to everybody who comes here to listen and enhance the moments. Thank you to people in Torah Anytime and in YouTube. Have a good summer full of Geula. Atzlocho Brocho.
This chart